Rain lashed against the windows of Emily Hart's apartment building. A chill wind howled, mimicking the storm brewing inside. Detective Martin Gray surveyed the scene, his face grim.
Emily Hart, 25, lay lifeless on the floor, a single crimson stain blooming on her white dress.
The apartment, usually so vibrant with Emily's spirit, was now a cold tableau of tragedy. Overturned furniture spoke of a struggle, a desperate fight for life. Yet, an unsettling stillness hung in the air, a silence that whispered of secrets. Gray, a seasoned detective with a world weariness in his eyes, knelt beside the body. His gaze, sharp and analytical, scanned the room, searching for any clue, any whisper that could lead him to the killer. The rain outside intensified, mirroring the storm of emotions brewing within him.
This was more than just another case. It was a puzzle he was driven to solve, a promise whispered into the cold silence. He wouldn't rest until he found justice for Emily Hart.
Detective Gray was a force of nature. Hardened by years on the force, his eyes held the weight of countless investigations, countless stories of loss and grief. His reputation preceded him, a man who knew the city's underbelly like the back of his hand.
He had a knack for seeing through deception, for unraveling the knots of even the most complex cases.
His dedication to his work was absolute, fueled by an unwavering sense of justice and a deep empathy for the victims he served. Gray ran a hand through his salt and pepper hair, his gaze fixed on Emily's lifeless form. He saw the fear etched on her face, the silent plea for justice. A surge of determination coursed through him.
He wouldn't fail her. He would find her killer, even if it meant pushing himself to the edge. This case, he vowed, would be different.
The initial hours of an investigation were always a blur of activity. Forensics meticulously combed through the scene, their movements precise and practiced. Uniformed officers canvassed the building, interviewing neighbors, searching for any shred of information. Each piece of evidence, each witness testimony, was a brushstroke in the portrait of the crime. Yet the image remained frustratingly incomplete.
The killer had left no obvious trace, their presence a chilling whisper in the shadows.
A name surfaced early in the investigation: Jacob Miller, Emily's ex-boyfriend. Their relationship, passionate and tumultuous, had ended just weeks before Emily's death. The timing was too coincidental to ignore.
Gray knew better than to jump to conclusions. He needed concrete evidence, not just suspicions. The investigation was far from over. It was only just beginning.
The interrogation room was stark, designed to intimidate. Jacob Miller sat across from Detective Gray, his face pale and drawn.
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't.
He maintained his innocence, his voice shaky as he answered Gray's questions.
Your alibi checks out, Jacob, but something feels off here. What are you not telling me?
He was holding back, his eyes darting nervously around the room. Was it guilt or simply fear? Gray couldn't be sure.
I don't know what else to say. I've told you everything.
The interrogation stretched on for hours, a tense dance between hunter and prey. Gray pressed for details, his voice calm but insistent.
Let's go over this again. Where were you on the night of Emily's disappearance?
Miller's story remained consistent, yet full of holes, like a tapestry woven with threads of deception. The room crackled with unspoken tension. Gray leaned forward, his gaze unwavering.
We need the truth, Jacob. No more games.
He needed to break through Miller's facade to see the truth hidden beneath. Weeks morphed into months, and still, the case remained unsolved. Leads went cold, witnesses proved unreliable, and the trail of Emily's killer grew fainter with each passing day.
We're running out of time. Every day that passes, the trail gets colder.
The investigative team, once brimming with optimism, now battled exhaustion and frustration. The walls of the investigation room were plastered with photos, maps, and timelines.
Please, someone must know something. We need answers.
Emily's mother, her face etched with grief and anger, pleaded for answers. Her pain was a tangible presence in the room, a constant reminder of the stakes.
We'll find the truth. We have to.
But the truth remained elusive, hidden behind a veil of secrets and lies. The case went cold, but for Detective Gray the fire still burned.
Emily won't become just another unsolved case. I won't let it happen.
He knew deep down that the truth was out there, waiting to be uncovered. He wouldn't rest until justice was served.